back here at GOMTV.net. Tastes on our toes as we're halfway through today's matches. We have 2 more best of 3s to go. We're going to go to Group C and Group D now.
Indeed, we are tasteless. I am very excited about the upcoming 2 matches. My favorite 2 for the night for sure.
Yeah, this match is the one I am most excited about for today.
Yeah.
First against Fantasy.
Certainly. That is going to be pretty awesome. First is one of the best PV tiers, and it has been for a long time, actually. Yeah. And like any Protoss worth his salt tasteless knows First style and has watched a lot of First games whenever they do pop up because he's so strong. The way that he like hides his Colossus switch is so unbelievably powerful that it's won all Protoss players.
And he's had a whole bunch of really smart builds.
Yeah.
Really new age stuff here. But he's up against Fantasy.
Fantasy
is like the smartest StarCraft player of all time, I'd say. The best builds.
He might be. Like he is one of the best Terrans in the entire world right now. Flash said so himself. He's a scary guy, man. He knows how to micro. He knows how to harass. His multitasking is second to none. And, I mean, if you guys are unfamiliar with Fantasy, because a lot of you, our viewers actually only followed StarCraft 2, some of these people just now following in Heart of the Swarm, Fantasy was easily top 5 players of all time. I always say top 6 because I don't want to have him and John B really face off for it, but he was the second best Terran.
He was incredible. Absolutely incredible. And now he switched over to StarCraft 2. He hasn't really been playing for that long, but he's already looks
He's had some great games so far.
Yeah.
He truly has, and he's supposedly at a ridiculously high level. Of course, he's in the top 16 already.
Right,
so that kind of speaks for itself. But we're going to learn a lot about his skill right now because First is a deadly PvT player.
Well, I feel like First is, in a way, a higher rank when you take skill and point to StarCraft 2. Fantasy, I'd say, is higher level when you look at an RTS player in general.
All right. Well, First definitely has won a bit more than Fantasy, so that's not completely unfair.
But we'll see. He could end up getting taken out by Fantasy. We'll see. We're going to take a look at the player stats now. And as you can see here, their WCS ranking not as high as some of these other guys, but that can all change soon after this tournament.
Both players took out ridiculously good players to get here.
Oh, yeah.
Roro and Leenock killed by First, and Life and Zhongbi knocked out by Fantasy.
Roro and Leenock, 2 of the most legendary Zergs from StarCraft Wings of Liberty.
Yeah, and Life the other one. So that pretty much covers it, Tasteless. Like, these 2 are just fearsome.
Oh, they really are. And, of course, look at the people that Fantasy even beat. Zhongbi, the guy who was basically tied with him from StarCraft 1.
Yeah.
All right, so here are the player stats now for First. Interesting to say that his popularity went down.
I don't even understand
I don't even get that.
how that works because he played brilliant builds and good execution.
And probably got his name out there more.
Yeah.
He certainly became more popular with me after that day.
Yeah. That's a weird one.
Well, we'll have to see. But he's gained a lot of points here and stuff like, chi, strategy, micro, macro, defense, and offense.
Yeah. I guess he leveled up overall, Tasteless.
And here is his opponent, Fantasy.
His micro and strategy going down a little bit. His popularity doesn't have very much further that it can go.
I'm always surprised when I see some of these stats that actually went down.
Yeah, I don't even...
You know what I mean? I guess you just get all the journalists together and you tally up all their scores, and I guess enough of them actually reduce theirs by a point or 2.
Yeah.
Suddenly it comes out to something like that.
If I was a Korean journalist, I knew that they were using these stats for this. I think I'd just rate someone all 1s or all 100s just to really skew it.
So funny. So our first
So you're saying that he has a 1 for micro? I'm like, yeah.
He's got a 1.
So worse than Bronze League micro? I'm like, yeah.
So good. Our map is going to be Whirlwind.
Like, we're throwing out the numbers you gave us. I'm like, oh.
We are going to go to, again, Whirlwind here. This map is huge. Should be an exciting PvT here. What do you expect First to do?
Okay, First, I think Templar Tech is what his opening is going to be. I would be surprised if he opened Colossus. I think that Templar Tech fits him pretty well.
Well, on this map as well, you get surrounded so easily when you go Colossus. It's big and open in the middle.
It's hard to stop drops if you go Colossus. Like, the time you take your third base, it becomes very, very difficult to defend against everything that's going on.
All right, and it looks like we're almost ready to get this match going here.
I'm trying to figure out what this is.
I don't know what is actually happening right now. I know somebody's getting fired. Oh my God, that's a Protoss Psyblade.
Yeah,
I've never seen this. All right, okay, it's part of their intro.
Yep.
They need to be zooming around on our headsets and stuff. Capturing spit coming out of our mouths, getting on the mic as we're casting. All right, so it looks like this game is almost ready to get started here. Fantasy on the right, a legend first. One of our new best StarCraft 2 players. Now, remember, even when today's done with, we won't know who's gone on to the round of 8. We'll have several more days of cast before we finally get there.
Yes, we will.
But anyways, the map is now loading. Who will be the first to win here today in Group C? We're going to find out soon. I'm Tasteless. With me is Artosis, or Tastosis, the casting Archon. Bring you the best broadcast, best cast we could ever hear at GOMTV.net. In the upper right, in the red, we have one of the few Protosses left. How far can he go? He is.
New challenger. LGIM first.
And his opponent down here in the bottom right, the legend from StarCraft 1. He is.
Master. SK Telecom T1 Fantasy.
Right.
What's up, Artosis?
Well, I'm just chilling, really relaxed. Had to go to the bathroom real bad during that last game.
Yeah, you did. I could tell you were in pain, man.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. And
oh no, that's happening before too.
It's a funny thing because I was sitting here having to go to the bathroom pretty badly.
Yeah.
In pain. And then I saw Bomber get up after game 2. I'm like, he's going to the bathroom, but I can't.
No, you can't, man.
I have to sit here and commentate till he gets back. Then I have to commentate.
They need to give us that medicine they give pilots, like jet pilots.
They need to do that, or we should be able to, in between games, be like, all right, a commentator has to go to the bathroom, then the players have to sit and wait. How's that feel?
Pause the game. Hold on.
Oh God. But yeah, no, I'm feeling fantastic now, Tasteless.
That's good. I'm glad you're feeling better.
I have renewed vigor for life. Now, first is going for a gateway expansion. It's a very good build for Whirlwind because the Reaper normally won't get more than 1 probe. If it gets 2 probes, that's upsetting.
Yeah, that's a shocker.
But yeah, this is a pretty darn safe way to get a very fast expand on this map and still be safe against Reaper openings, which are...
Well, you're so far away from each other on this map, the Reaper doesn't have the same kind of muscle it has on other maps.
True that, but this might not be a Reaper opening. We don't know exactly what this will be quite yet. And yeah, factory right away. So with a factory this quick, this means that we're going to see some pretty heavy aggression. And of course, you know, Widowmine's going to be very, very scary this early into the game.
Oh, absolutely. And that was a gas first, right? That was a gas first for Terran?
Yes,
it was. Okay, just double checking here. So yeah, I mean, this actually might be quite strong against the build that Protoss is actually going for here.
Yeah, it definitely could. You know, most likely we're going to see a Robo right away. There are other builds that exist, but really, most likely it's going to be a Robo.
With him getting that the gas so late, though, you got to think, okay, he's going to get a Robo. That's not cheap for gas. He's going to have to get an Observer immediately. That's not cheap for gas, and then he's going to have to get a Stalker, so he's going to be pretty tight on gas overall here.
That's true. You know, with this opener that first did, he's got to decide. When does he get Warp Gate? When does he get Mothership Core?
Right, exactly.
Because you just have to get the Stalker right away because of the various builds that could be coming at you, such as a Reaper. So with the Stalker come out, that's a 50 gas right there. We'll see what his next building is. If it's the Robo, well, the thing is,
Warp Gate now.
You want the Mothership Core as well, because Nexus Cannon is going to be very useful against this.
Yeah, very true. So we have the Zealot coming up here now. We do have an adequate number of Marines here to hold this. And the Medevac's almost out here, so he's going to get this drop going very soon.
You know, an interesting unit set is being created here, Tasteless, with a couple Hellions. We do have a Widowmine out already. I think we're going to see a second Widowmine. Probably. Well, you know what? He might do the Marine Widowmine drop with the Hellions towards the front. or
that's
vice
totally
versa.
possible,
But
too.
yeah, this one is a little bit more common.
All right, and it looks like the Mothership Core is going to see this. And she does.
Yes, she does.
Yes,
and
she
he's
does.
probably going to want to drop, I would think, drop the Marines there and kill the Mothership Core.
Yeah, I'm surprised
But
he didn't
I
do
guess
that.
this is so timing dependent. And you know, that Robo is very far from being done. Now,
All right, these probes.
that's... I gotta hand it to him. That it's nice that he has that out so early, but in the main base it would have been more effective.
Yeah, I have to agree.
But you know, you can't know this for certain at that point.
And look at this beautiful control. He's going to take out that Stalker. The Hellion, meanwhile, comes up here and does some damage of his own.
And the medevac gonna get out of here. Hellion's still coming in, and ooh, he catches one with the probes. Very nice move. Single Hellion left over, and this, I don't know, 5 kills, 5 probe kills. I don't
Not
think
as
that-
much
6,
as he would have hoped for, you know?
7. All right, so 7, not too bad. Not too
And
bad.
looks like that's probably going to go up to 8. No, he manages to evacuate that probe out of there.
Huh.
The Observer
All right.
now on the way here.
Lost mining time exists as well. And first goes right into Twilight and Forge, which is exactly what I would expect on this map.
Yeah.
But we're going to see Hellbat drops coming up as well. So how quickly will he get actual defense up against this? Because I feel like from here, and let me just check to make sure, because I'm pretty darn sure. Yeah, you see, he made the one Observer, so he doesn't know that Hellbat drops are coming. So he can't just... He could blindly make like a cannon each mineral line. But something like that would be very helpful
Well,
here.
you know, but if he does do that and the Terran's not doing this, then Protoss is behind in a different way.
Yes, exactly.
So that's one of the problems here. But this is a really good build here by Fantasy.
Yeah, it's a very powerful one. And with just one gateway, he doesn't really have the units required to take this out.
Yeah,
Well,
he can end up being
obviously he
stretched
can beat
too
it, but-
thin right here.
Yeah.
So we have the second medevac coming out here with 2 more Hellbats. Let's see how much damage he can do.
Here we go, a boost into that main base, and Nexus Cannon immediately going down. Fantasy
And
does
force
get
him
out
to
of
pull
there.
out. Yep. He'll let that Nexus Cannon cool up before he comes in again in that location.
So we do have a cannon on the way as well, and this is superb. Superb.
Beautiful defense here.
Yeah. He's like a rain jacket against Fantasy's rain.
Wow. Whoa.
Yeah.
You are so good at this, Artosis. Whoa.
Thank you.
Okay, so he might actually bunch up those 2 up in the main and then just try to run in there and just drop on him there. And another drop over here.
And it doesn't look like he can quite get many probes here. In fact,
Actually boxed in there.
yeah, he's only killed 1 probe so far with that Hellbat drop.
Yeah.
But he didn't lose the map back, so that's important. Now,
All right,
this one
here he
coming
comes
in.
now. Nexus Cannon trigger here. First, looking so good.
Yeah, he is. Very quick
And I gotta
reactions.
say, you know, to be totally frank, Fantasy's build was so good up against what First opened with, it just has not impacted him negatively at all.
Yeah, yeah. Kind of wild how well First defended. He ended up losing at the end of the day 10 probes, but he killed 1 of the medevacs, he killed 4 Hellbats, he killed 6 Marines, and a Widow Mine.
Yeah, and when you consider
And his expansion was so much quicker.
even losing the Widow, not the Widow Mine, Medevac alone is bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to drop with, like, let's say Hellbats, for instance, and not do that much damage and lose them as long as you get the Medevac out of there.
Yeah.
But no, even then, First defense is just too good.
Yeah.
This is a well-practiced build he has here.
Yeah, he's very good at defending with it. And in fact, he's going into the Warp Prism that's very common with an opener like this, and grabbing a Dark Shrine, which has become increasingly...
This is a great way to control the Terran. You can harass them your own here.
Yeah, definitely. And that's going to be so helpful for him, because Fantasy having such late expands is a little bit more reliant on the mules than normal. So he's going to be
Yes.
dropping those with just complete regularity. And, you know, that's just kind of the way the game flows when you open up with such late command
Oh,
centers.
and look at this nice little drop over here. And he could use that depot setup there to wall off those Zealots as they try to come into the main.
Mm-hmm.
But in fact, he will not hide the warp, and he'll warp in right over here on top of these other units.
You know, this is kind of a cool way to go about things, Taste, is the DT's warping in right... Or no, those are actually Zealots, forgive
yeah.
me. And in fact...
I was pretty sure they're going to be DTs as well, actually.
I gotta say, I feel like if he had done the DTs, this could have been huge, but he lost that, and in fact,
Well,
the DT
Terran-
was unwarped because of it.
Well, Terrence actually pushed. I think what happened was is that there was an attack over there inside of his third base. Looks like he managed to deflect that, though. The Nexus still warping in. DT's now coming out here. Could be going to the second and to the third. Let's see how good Fantasy is.
Yeah.
And thinking on his toes right now.
Well, this is going to be very hard to use because he has turrets at neither of them. He does have scans at this point, 2 of them, but with 2 DTs coming in, he's going to have to split his units, scan twice. He's going to have to watch out for new DTs coming as well. This is great play by First.
Sound like you said he's going to have to watch out for nudity as well.
He's got to watch out for that as well.
Too, man.
Well, he's the only player here that's nude without any turrets, Tasis.
All right, another drop over here. A nice warping, though, here on the low ground. Well, I guess right below those medevacs, I should say.
First was waiting for him there, Tasteless, and in fact, that's just enough to knock that drop back. First has his third base secured. He's continuing his upgrades. He's mixing in a really nice set of units. He's going to have 3 Immortals here with Psystorm and Charge Zealots. He has 3 Sentries still left alive. A high-energy Mothership Core. I love the position that First is in right now.
No, he looks fantastic. Wow. So, from here, the supplies are virtually even. I don't think anybody can do or can really attack anybody else for the time being. They're probably both going to sit back and build up because right now the harass from these guys, it's been good, but both sides have deflected so well.
Well, we do have a Ghost Academy on the way. That's pretty well timed by Fantasy overall. Sidestorm is going to be finishing up, but he will be starting Ghost rather quickly. And he's just going to be very careful because when First has Psystorm, and by the way, I have to say again, the 3 Immortals, I am really...
Isn't that great?
I'm appreciating him for making those 3 Immortals because that is giving so much more backbone to his army.
Well, it makes it really hard for those Marauders to actually engage.
Yeah, Marauders are what is going to run through Psystorm.
Oh my god, Fantasy's already ready for this drop.
And
let's see if this can even get over there in time.
Wow, that is 4 Vikings right there. He does drop a single DT. We'll see what that can get done. But, we do nice Storm.
Nice Storm.
Choosing the Storm over a single feedback there.
Vikings actually doing damage on the ground. That's very exciting to see.
And look at this. Another Warp Prism immediately made by First. He wants to keep that harassment going.
Yeah. Looks like 4th is going to be taken here momentarily here from First.
A 4th by First, but he's at his 3rd. We do have some Hellbat production coming out of Fantasy right now. Not a terrible choice. They do reasonably well against Psystorm. Of course, great against Zealots, and he is getting that armor as well. But here he goes. He just charged in here.
There, picking up.
He's got to be careful. Feedbacks will slaughter those medevacs.
And when you get those Templars out, that's a real moment where Turn has to be very careful whenever they engage in there, or you could insta-lose your medevac, and the only thing that Protoss loses is some energy temporarily on a Templar.
He has right now, Tasteless, a Warp Prism out, starts another one, gets more gates, and goes into Colossus Tech.
Yep.
Again, guys, First, one of the best PvTers in the world, and you can really see it here. This is fantastically beautiful play.
All right, it looks like now First is pushing out here, headed towards the bottom center here with a large army of Templar, Zealots, Stalkers, and Immortals.
Look at the mini-map and all the red dots right now.
Oh, yeah, look at this.
It's not that Fantasy is playing bad, but First is so on top of everything. He has, like, complete vision everywhere. He has his pylons out. He has multiple Warp Prisms. He's keeping up reasonably well on upgrades. He's taking his 4th with good time. Everything he's doing is just awesome.
All right, the Ghosts are out here now for Fantasy. Some Zealots doing some scouting to see exactly what his opponent has right now. Excuse me. The Zealots now coming up here. And absolutely no damage dealt there to the Terran. And it looks like now it's going to cause First to regroup over here in the center. By the way, First on 4 bases, whereas Fantasy is only on 3. Also, let's see if this drop does any damage at all.
Fantasy is going to have his 3-3 coming. He's almost halfway done it, basically. Whereas First has 2-2 with +3 armor on the way, all off of 1 Forge. That's the most consistently chrono-boosted Forge, I think, ever. I just want to throw that out there because that is amazing to have that far along in upgrades. But, Fantasy has a really strong unit composition. He's kept his medevacs alive, he's kept his Vikings alive, and he has good counts of both with 6 Vikings and 7 medevacs, but also he has 12 ghosts.
Taking out that armor upgrade. Ooh. That was huge. We got the tail end of that.
That's so good.
That's so good.
That's going to keep them equal on upgrades.
I'm glad we actually caught that. Yeah. Otherwise, we would not have known.
I had no idea that was happening. But, okay, so Fantasy has a ton of ghosts, and he has all his flying units, and those are the expensive, important units to actually keep alive. The Marines and Marauders much less so.
Yeah.
So this is actually still absolutely anyone's game.
All right, here they come now. Coming for the high ground. Nice storming there, really softening up the rest of that army. Making them think twice about coming up any further. 5th base, by the way, being taken for first. Fantasy is running out of time. Fantasy has to get another expansion up. It needs to do it now. There's not much time left.
No, there certainly is not, especially since we're going to have 5 bases for first mining pretty soon.
Yeah.
Which is pretty fantastic.
And I love these additional zealots coming in over here.
Yeah. This is just great play. But there are a lot of Marines over here to meet them, and that bunker looks like it will finish. But that's okay. Those zealots will even come back later.
Yeah. Oh, a lot of ghosts getting picked off over here. That charge so strong since the ghosts can't run away as quickly.
I know I already said it, but look at the mini-map.
No, it's incredible.
I am in shock at how good the vision is. It's like First sees everything.
He is everywhere, man.
Yeah. But Fantasy, you know, he's the one in the middle. So, you know, he's able to run to different bases a lot quicker than First is. So First has to be on top of exactly where he's at.
All right, he's coming up. Nice sniping there on the Templar. Protoss now going to try to come from behind. Not a lot of anti-air here, though, to keep these Colossi safe.
Slowly but surely, Fantasy is whittling things down.
Yeah.
But First, you know, his economy is about equal to Fantasy right now. He does have more probes, of course, and more nexuses, but he's just now sending probes over to one of them. So
yes,
just as of now, he should be getting ahead. Well, actually, Fantasy just isn't mining.
Oh yeah, okay. I was about to chime in and be like, he's not even mining right now.
What is the deal with that? He's definitely going to get that going. But here we go. Fantasy is going for it, realizing that he's in trouble at this point, realizing that the time is running out of his clock.
Does he actually have too much right now? That was a really good storm, by the way, over there. The Colossi are now driving the Terran back out.
The Cloaked Ghost doing a good job for a little bit there.
Still not mining at that location.
2 of those Immortals still left alive, dealing a lot more damage in here as well. The Cloaked Ghosts did their job, though, Tasteless, and Fantasy is pushing forward still.
Fantasy still doing a lot of damage right now. Can he break through the remainder of this Protoss army? If he does not, I don't think there's much of a chance left here for Fantasy.
Yeah, you know, a couple more warping rounds, and it's going to be going to First. But this is a huge amount of units being rallied up. First does have that lead, but his back almost got broken with his units. But 4 Archons on the way, I feel like that might be enough.
Be okay, yeah.
Thing is, we do have 3 ghosts, so if he hits 3 perfect MPs on him, maybe.
All right, nice feedbacks there. The Archons, the Zealots now coming down. But this is another big regroup here for Fantasy. Can First do it?
And I think the Archons may end up being too much with the Immortals as well. So there's a lot of damage being done, but hold on. Fantasy with his great micro is actually eliminating all these expensive units.
All right, continuing to push down here now. There is one Colossus out. And it looks like with these Zealots over here, this will just barely push Fantasy off this part of the map.
Well, he does have a couple Vikings to try to push that Colossus back, but 2 Stalkers with their +3 attack are going to be more than enough to keep those at bay for now.
Yeah.
Now Fantasy is hitting this base. He's producing mostly Marines and Medevacs right now with his limited income, very limited income. He needs to kill at least, oh god, maybe even more than 2 Nexuses. I don't think it's actually really going to be possible anymore. There's just been too many warping rounds for First at this point.
I think you're right. He has too much of a balanced army now. There's a point in time where he started to break it down, but you know, he's got so many gateways, he's got so much money rolling in.
Yeah.
Of course he can just remake that. And now look at this. Looks like First is almost maxed out, where Fantasy is at about a little under half supply.
Well, more harassment, something Fantasy absolutely can't take. This is his 1 mining base right now. We should be seeing GG in just a second here.
I think you're right.
This game is certainly, it's been over for at least a minute, Tasteless.
At least. Dare I say 2 Artosis.
I don't know, that might be overdoing it.
An attack over here, small counterattack right now, but Protoss is spilling in over here in the second, and I don't think there's anything that Fantasy can do to stop this. Look as he just micros ahead, and GG.
Just right clicks on the command center. Well,
saying, get out, man.
A lot of hype around Fantasy right now. He's a very skilled Terran, but first showing that dynamite PVT that has served him so well in the past and still is one of the best PVTs I've seen.
Yeah.
And I watch every single PVT.
No, he looked perfect.
Yeah.
His defense at the start was really, really good.
Yeah.
His harass, even though Fantasy was denying most of it, was doing fantastic. We never really got to focus in on it, but he never really let the Terran ever get up at fourth base. It was hard enough for Fantasy to just even have 3 bases.
By the way, he looks a little bit like John the Translator.
Oh my God, he looks a little bit like John the Translator. You're totally right. Could that? I didn't see John here at work today. Could that be that John the Translator is in fact Fantasy?
Yes, I guess it could be.
It could be. We're going to have to find out later.
Steal John the Translator's glasses and put him on Fantasy.
All right, well, we're going to go to game number 2 now. That was a sick game, by the way.
That was really good.
That was a real treat to cast.
And the thing is, Fantasy did play well, but his early harassment didn't do nearly as much as he wanted. And
yeah,
it's a hard choice. But when he flew past the mothership core, based upon the energy on it, I think he looked and he's like, okay, you went gateway expand, so I'm going to get you way before the robo's ready. But he dropped the mine at the natural. And the natural has...
That seemed a bit impulsive there.
Well, one of the things that I like about the mine so early going into the base is because there's no observers. But I feel like if it's maybe at the main base, it can also help deny a lot of the gas mining. And if you get behind on the gas, that's a big
I had not even thought about that.
Yeah.
If you deny even one of the gases from mining...
Thing is, he's already behind
what are they
on
do?
gas.
He needs an observer. He needs a stalker.
Yeah. And he probably needs a second observer. And the thing is, he also needs to throw up a Twilight very quickly.
Yeah.
Or, the quick stim and medevacs are going to get him.
I actually love that.
Yeah. So I'm not completely
changed my
sure.
way I was thinking about that drop.
Yeah. Well, I feel like maybe he should have done that. I understand
You're going to change the metagame, and all the Protosses are going to get their gases at their expansion ortosis.
Well,
because
I don't know about that.
Because you said this.
So there was that one choice that I was just slightly, I'm not sure that I'm right on that, but I'm slightly questioning it. And then not killing the mothership core as well, because that's always that's a pain. And the thing is, on the second set of drops with the Hellbats, the mothership core is what allowed him to stop it.
That's very true.
If the mothership core had died, it wouldn't have had enough energy.
The mothership core in his main, and then 3 stalkers down there in the second base, basically. And, the mothership core not been there, you could have pulled the Protoss apart.
I think so. So, I don't know. Maybe those are some ways that Fantasy went wrong, but first, he did just about everything right there.
Yeah. So we're going to be going into the second game here. The map is going to be Belshir Vestige, one-on-one map. Mm-hmm. I don't think we're going to have any cheeses, though.
No, I don't think so. I think it's going to be a little bit more standard game. I wonder when Fantasy's going to start his harassment. I don't think it's going to be that quickly this game. I feel like it's just going to be maybe a more standard opener.
What about Hellbat drops or something like that? Is that a possibility?
Sure.
He just runs in there, tries to melt a bunch of workers?
Yeah, it's certainly a possibility, I would say. But how quickly does he do it, I guess, is the real question. Because even though he got 10 probes before, his command center was so late that it didn't matter that much.
With Stalkers having this range that's so good against the Hellbats, if you drop and pull out your probes, you can just kite the Hellbat with your Stalkers.
Yeah, kill off the medevac if it's trying to heal. Stalkers do well against it, but sometimes that can work in the favor of Terran as well if you force enough Stalkers.
That's true.
Well, I mean, if you force too many, then maybe they're going to go Blink Colossus, and you can play against that kind of knowing where they're likely to go with their tech. But, I mean, that gets very much into the mind game aspect.
That's when you're getting pretty deep down the StarCraft theory rabbit hole, if you will. Indeed. I don't know what the delay is here, but we should have this game started shortly here.
I think, I know. And both players said they were ready, so hopefully we'll get that started pretty soon.
Hopefully.
And, it looks like we're going. So,
all right, great.
Excellent.
So get ready here. We're going into game number 2 with First against Fantasy right now to see if First is going to be the winner here of Group C, at least for today, or if Fantasy is going to start to come back. I think it will go to game number 3, but you never know what to expect. Because these guys are so good. Sometimes one player is just a little bit more dominant than the other. And it looks like that countdown has started. So get ready for our map, Belshir Vestige, with Taste and Tastosis The Casting Archon here at GOMTV.net bring you the WCS Korea Season 2 Finals. Stay tuned.